area. Um, Good play for a buy, fix, and sell. This property could also be a very good rental property. Let's dive in on this one. Number one on this house, we're limited on interior photos, um, but it's a tri-level two-car garage. Again, the one thing I want to stress is where you see this square footage, knowing that it's a tri-level, we know that there's probably another 500, 600 feet kind of in this lower level where there's the windows on the lower level. So you always, whenever you're running comps on a property, you want to make sure that you're comping it against the square footage would be similar, but you also have to remember that our tax assessor's office and real estate agents kind of put anything in square footage. So that's something where you got to reach out. Up here comes all the photos right now. So we've got ourselves a tri-level. The kitchen cabinets dated. It's all kind of on a house like this. I call it perfectly preserved. So it's really in decent shape overall. It's just kind of it needs updates throughout. Essentially, is what this is. So let's go down and just take a quick peek at the numbers again. We know that the square footage says 1,075 square feet, but we know since it's a tri-level, and this is pretty much always the case in the Chicagoland area, you've got to make an adjustment on what the square footage is, and knowing that this house is probably closer to 1,500 square feet, 1,600 square feet, maybe even 1,700 square feet, that's going to be the actual square footage. So we've got a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and this particular property, let's see, let's look at some of the comps that are right there in the neighborhood. So again, I want to look at some images. I'm just scrolling through. When I'm looking for comps, I'm looking for something that would be similar to the subject. Now, I may not come up with anything that's an actual comp within the subdivision, but I want to find a tri-level wherever I can. All right, so we've got one here. Let's just take a look at the image. All right, so this one's 29 Greenfield. This is in the Boulder Hill subdivision, just a few blocks away. Updated at some point. It's not a real recent update. Let's take a look a little bit further down here. So it's 1,175 square feet. Again, I want to stress it's probably 1,700 square feet, just knowing what it is. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Oh, it does say a 4-car garage. So we're looking at an image of a 1-car garage from here. Let's just scroll through some of these images. And they're not showing where the other 3 cars are. That would be really helpful as a real estate agent. This one it's sold on 4/17/2020. So let's just take a quick peek. Let's assume it's got 4-car garages. A 4-car garage, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 4-car garage, 1 story. Don't pay attention to that. It's a tri-level. Built in 1960, so around the same time as us. This one sold on April 17th, 2020, and it took 57 days. That's days on market, DOMs. So this particular property, based on it having a additional garage of which they have no photos on, I'm going to say that it does. So it's got a 4-car garage total. So probably 3-car garage and then this 1-car garage attached. Sold at 217. Let's take a look again and see if we can find another comp that would be similar to the subject. And we've got some ranches here. Let's take a look at this one here, Woodridge. All right, so this property, again, very similar scenario, except this time the agent gave us some photos of another garage. So we've got a 1-car attached garage, and then it looks like we got a 2-car, like 2.5-car detached garage. So this one is a well-maintained 4-bedroom tri-level. And it is the total square footage, 1,223. We know that's likely not accurate, so we got to make some adjustment for that. It says 4 bedrooms. It only has 1 bath. But now it says that it's got a 4-car garage. Maybe the 1 car is 2 cars deep. I'd have to dive in a little bit deeper. Built in 1959, days on market 110 days, and this one closed in May of this year. So again, another property we could use as a comparable. Let's take a look at another one here. There is another property. There's a raised ranch. There's a bunch of ranches that are out there that are. Let's just take a look at this 8 Durango real quick. All right, so 8 Durango. This property is pending as of 6/7/2020. So a pending property. And it's nice and tidy and clean. Not what I would call updated by any means, but it's definitely a good looking home. So let's look at some of the specs on this one. It is 1,094 square feet. Now that is accurate. This is a ranch on a slab or a crawl. So we know that this square footage, it is 1,094 square feet. So if it was a tri-level, it would be a different story. We would have to make some adjustments. Here, it's a flat 1094. Was listed for 204.5, and it's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 2-car garage. Again, this is a true 1-story built in 1960. This property is located very close to the subject property as well. So looking at the comps that are out there, I mean, they're ranging from the high 190s, kind of dated, to the 217, and that one had more garage spaces than the subject property. Looking at this property, so let's go back to the subject. We get back in here. Whoops. 7 North Bierman. It's listed for $137,000. So let's just do the math real quick on this one. If we could pick this up for $130K, we're good. So that would be a great purchase price on this home based on the comparable sales in the area, or I should say the renovation on this property. Again, I'm not going to go in and full tilt this house. None of them, if you looked at the comps, none of them were absolutely just gorgeous by any means. They were all nice. So this property, all fixed up, cleaned up, we're going to say it's worth around $220K. And our renovation cost being somewhere right around $40K. So if I was to take the numbers on this property, take everything out, our buy price to our sell price, and our renovation inside the property, this would likely leave an investor with around a $30,000 profit. So that's a great deal, something I would say, hey, go after. But, I also like this property as a rental. So, what's sometimes helpful is to go through and just see, were there any rentals that were in the area? And again, I'm using a system where I don't use rentals. I own rentals in this particular subdivision, so I have a very good idea of what the rental activity is and rent prices for a house like this. Rents would be around $2,000 a month, maybe just a smidge less. Like I'd be probably listing it at $1,995 per month. If I was to finance the property, do a cash out refinance, this is probably going to leave me with around $400 a month positive cash flow after all expenses. Now I could go through all that with you on our calculator, but knowing that what we could get this for, $130,000 buy-in price based on taxes and rent prices. So this property is a good play both ways. If we want it as a rental, it checks out, and if we want it as a buy, fix, and sell property, again, it checks out. Great neighborhood, high demand. Usually, I would say most homes have a fairly quick turnover. This does not need to be a full gut rehab. This is a clean it, paint it, make it look nice. Yes, I would change the cabinets out in this one and new appliances, but there's not a lot of them. I could do cabinet counts, and there's not a lot in here. So absolutely a good play. Check out the link below I have where you could actually submit an offer on the property right online with us. And if you wanted to just get some general information, you know how to get a hold of me. All right, thanks, guys, for tuning in.